Today we're going to can some Damsons. Absolutely delicious. Now, a good year, which this can be one of my most productive trees on the homestead. This is a Merryweather damson, more akin to a plum, to be honest with you, and they're just starting to go over, so I need to harvest them now or we're going to lose them. And what's brilliant about this damson, if I show you, is that it's free stone. So the stone just comes out like that, which makes it brilliant for preserving. Yes, you can can them with stones in, but I much prefer it without. So I'm going to harvest a load of these now. I'm going to can them this morning and get them in the storage. That's so good. I could eat those till I poo myself. Right. This is where I wish I did this when the girls weren't at school, because they're really great at helping me with this. So I'm going to stone all these fruits now. I've washed them. What I have done is I've set my big pan on to boil. There's a mesh ring in the bottom to keep it up off the bottom so that the glass doesn't crack. And then in the oven, I'm going to sterilise 9 pint jars. That's what I need to fill up. So I'm going to sit down now, probably watch a video with a chopping board, and I'm going to fill up 9 pints worth of damson halves. These are almost a plum, to be honest with you. They're so sweet. I think they're called a damsine. I think they're like a cross. But yeah, so let's get on it. Dead simple. It's got an empty jar there. I'm going to cut these open, remove the stone. Let's get a pot for those. And I'm going to fill up each jar and a bit more so I can press them down in there. Got the kettle boiling, and I'm going to sterilise the tops of the 2-part lids while the big pot boils. Hopefully should be ready fairly soon. See how long it takes me to do. Two. Okay, this is coming up to the boil now. I'm going to make a medium syrup for these. Oh, gonna spill sugar everywhere, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Right, start again. Okay, make some, but I'm going to start it off, I'm going to put the sugar in first in the water. So for a medium syrup, so it's 3 1/4 cups to 3 1/4 cups to 5 cups of water. So I'm going to double that. So I'm going to do 6 cupfuls of sugar, 6 1/2 cupfuls of sugar. 1, 2, 3. We need to get the jars out of the oven. That should be sterilised by now. They've been in ages actually, probably far too hot. Ooh, steamy. Get these guys out. When we're using our jars, we want to make sure that there is no chips on the top. They want to be clean, obviously, and sterilised. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fill them all up with these beautiful plums, damsines, whatever you want to call them. Make sure you've got enough space, guys. Doing them in halves like this, they obviously lose their shape a lot more when you reuse them, when you take them out, but that's not something I'm too worried about. Okay, with our syrup piping hot now, we're going to add it to each can. And we're going to go I've got a little gauge here to the 1/2 inch headspace, but it's quite easy to remember where that is on what line it is on the can itself. So that's where I'm going to go with that. Oh, turn that off. Then what we do with this is we'll go around and just remove any air bubbles you see there. It's a huge one. Try not to burn your fingers, always helps. And you're not going to get them all, but you just need to make a bit of an effort. Basically, we want to be heating liquid rather than air. And it might mean that you've got to top up with a little bit of syrup now afterwards. It looks like one or two of them I'll just have to pop a little bit more in. That one. And I'm going to just wipe the rims, make sure there's no sugar or plums on there. Damsons even. Keep moving it around, get the clean bit. Now these lids are the disposable part, although I do keep them for dehydrated food afterwards. And I do tend to buy cheap ones from China, and they are fine. You buy like 100 for £7. Let's get the 2-part rings. Now for a long time with canning, I used to get this wrong. I used to do it too tight. So you want to be on about that tight, kind of finger tight. I think I used to crank it on. I used to have no chance of getting it right. I've just noticed this ring, it's got a little bit of something in there. I'm going to bin it. You don't need as many rings as you do jars. Got that going, that is boiling. So what we'll do is we'll get these and put them in. It's obviously going to take it off the boil. These jar lifters are essential. Oh, is that something cracking? I hope not. Okay, so we've got the 9 in there. It's not quite an inch, so I'm just going to top it out with a kettle full of water, and then we can get that back up to a rolling boil. Okay, the big saucepan is up to the boil. I have lost the lid for it. Well, I didn't lose it, I smashed the lid for it. It's a glass lid. I dropped it outside when I was using it on the barbecue, and it got destroyed. But this is doing it, it's holding a bit of moisture in there. This is going to be at a rolling boil now for 20 minutes. If this has had 20 minutes now, I'm going to take the lid off. Oh dear. Looks like we've had one jar explode. We'll take that off, and we're going to give it 5 minutes to cool down. You can see there that one jar's gone wrong. You can see the bottom's broken on the jar. I did hear something crack when I put them in. These things happen. It's not the end of the world, so we'll see how it goes now. Right, so they've had their 5 minutes. Let's get them out, see what the damage is. I'm hoping it's just the one that's broken. I did hear a little tink as I put them in. I think I might have mentioned it on the video. So we've got 8 out of the 9. Let's have a look. The bottom had cracked off that one. That disappointing. Never nice to lose one, especially they're made more expensive than they are in America. But it's just one of those things. So we'll leave that to cool down. We'll sort out the broken glass in there later. We'll leave these to cool down as well. Okay, the final step is to remove the rings. I want them to be stored like this. We're going to have to clean them off because it's obviously got a bit sticky with our broken jar in the canner. But we're going to remove these, and then we're going to test that they've sealed. And what this means is, if the food does go bad and the lid pops, it's not going to reseal again. If this is holding it down, chances are it could pop, reseal, and you wouldn't know. When you come to open it, you want that kind of good seal on there. It's just dead simple. Take them off. We'll wipe all these down. I've got a clean rag here, and we'll label them up and date them. I'll write on the lids At least then we know what the date is, and no label's going to fall off or anything. So there we go, 9 jars, canned up, shelf-stable food that we don't need refrigeration for. It's perfectly fine in the pantry, sat there as we need it. We tend to use it for crumbles and pies. Pop the lid, I'll drain out the syrup, maybe I'll save that for my porridge if I'm feeling naughty, and then we just use the fruit as you would any other fruit. Absolutely superb, really tasty, great way to use up produce, really simple to do. I would say, so the key things are, make sure you keep everything clean. Your jars want to be clean, you want to check them, make sure there's no kind of cracks. Obviously we had one break, these things happen. I would also say you want to follow a good recipe, and I like the American recipes, why I tend to call it canning rather than bottling. And I like the Blue Book of Preserving, the Blue Book of Preserving, and I've got a few others as well, but that seems to be a pretty reliable one that I come back to time and time again. So make sure you follow a good book, make sure you follow the recipe to the letter, and you shouldn't go wrong, because what you're trying to avoid is botulism, and no one wants that. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.